since 1927 until 2015, when I had the opportunity to serve in the public sector, the ginger value chain never received a government intervention to boost it. Consequently, practice had remained traditional. Sanitation and hygiene has been very poor. Productivity has been very low. But most importantly, like most agricultural value chains in Nigeria, it remained broken. And therefore, farmers have had to produce ginger at such a high cost with so much drudgery, but got very little in return for their ginger. Scoping the ginger sector, both upstream, downstream, and even the import of finished products from ginger, we find out that the ginger value chain is worth over $2 billion annually, $2 billion annually. But while Nigeria doesn't get up to 25% of that value. And the reason simply is that we export primary raw materials and then import finished products of ginger and derivatives that are like 10 times the cost of the primary raw material that we produce. This is a common practice across Africa and most of the developing world. And so this inspired me to go all out and see what we could do in the ginger value chain. And there is nobody that can just ignore a sector that provides livelihood for 70% of the population. I've always looked at agriculture as an agribusiness, as the potential driver of the Nigerian economy. Well, while we were looking at this, we started an outgrower scheme, because the whole business model that we wanted to do was centered upon the smallholder farmer. Yes, we wanted to make money, but we were looking at enhancing the smallholder farmer, such that we can create a platform that links the upstream and the downstream and enables the creation of an ecosystem that allows for the flow of quality inputs so that whatever comes out at the end of the day, that in terms of products, will be of high quality and that can be benchmarked in the global markets. The COVID-19 came, the corona pandemic came, and further crippled these farmers just after we started in 2018 with them, and it became their situation became very dire, and they were so desperate. And we thank God for the Mastercard Foundation that came with their COVID resilience and recovery program. We keyed into it, and they saw reason to partner with us to improve the lot of these farmers.
The idea of the intervention in the ginger value chain, working with Agrolog, is a very exciting one. And it's exciting because, first of all, ginger is a very unique value chain. And although everybody eats ginger, a lot of people don't even understand it, don't know where it comes from. So it's an exciting project for us to project the value chain. But more importantly, it is a very important value chain for the people of Southern Kaduna. Southern Kaduna has about 12 local governments. But in these 12 local governments, there are 6 local governments that are the predominant producers of ginger.
Our choice of ginger has to do with the fact that it is the most viable value chain, agricultural value chain in northern Nigeria. But most importantly, there are issues that also came around. The farmer-herders clashes also further complicated the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we are lucky in our choice of the value chain. Ginger is such a crop that cattle do not forage upon. And so it became more like a lifesaver, that if anybody had a ginger field, then it was going to be his only source of income. Because while the pandemic was ravaging farms and smallholder farmers, the lockdowns had happened and farmers were not allowed to go to their farms. Their fields were left unattended to. Then of course, marauding cattle also. We are having a field day in most of the fields. But for ginger farms, they were spared because cattle do not eat ginger leaves.
You can gather at least 10 farmers in a farm. But due to this COVID-19, there was no that gathering, that they gathered together so that they enhance their farming. There was a lot of what can I say, setback. With this insecurity, kidnapper also bring a lot of setback to farmers. You can't go to the farm, afraid of if you go to the farm, the kidnapper will come, take you away, demand money from you. Sometimes they even kill the farmers because there is no money. So there was a lot of setback with these two things, the COVID-19 and this insecurity, more especially the kidnapping.
And ginger, as we know it, has been a source of generating cash for these farming communities in these local governments in Kaduna State. So the idea when presented to us was very, very interesting for us as an opportunity for the foundation to partner with the likes of Agrolog, who already have footprints in this area and are experts in this value chain, to support what they're already doing with smallholder farmers, help them scale their ability to support them to improve and increase their hectareage, and be able to commence earning again from ginger, which historically served to pay school fees, pay for other farming activities, because ginger is very high yielding in terms of output and in terms of the naira that it attracts.
Because we had a vision to achieve in terms of lifting people out of poverty and making agriculture the driver of the Nigerian economy through partnerships with the smallholder farmers. We kept faith. I remember some of us and part of the project team have had to stay in rural areas for months.
And we're already seeing, the impact, because it has even attracted young men and women who are not in the ginger space for various reasons.
We did a training on empowering women through ginger value change, and the essence is for women to get to know what to use ginger to do. And we find out that there are many things that ginger can be used to bring out the products of which many people can use. You can use ginger to bring out spices. You can use ginger to make ginger juice. You can use ginger to make ginger oil.
So a lot is going on. It's engaging a lot of people and creating dignified and fulfilling work opportunities in the ginger value chain. A lot of women and older men too. Currently, there's a lot of harvest going on. There's a lot of processing going on. And it's already creating the industry that we hope to instigate through our partnership with Agrolog.
We started by registering farmers. First of all, in Sanga local government, we don't practice ginger But because of Agrolog, now we are into ginger proper. Agrolog provides us with a seedling, that is the rhizome. Agrolog provides us with all the input that is necessary to farm ginger, which we did. Today, we are proud among the other local government to be among the ginger producing local government. In fact, to me in particular, Agrolog has come to stay in my mind because Agrolog gives us adequate and proper education regarding farming, especially the ginger. We attended so many seminars and training, both theory and practical, and we insighted into our farmers.
A farmer will have to go and plow his field manually, and then he goes back, plant the ginger manually, and then he weeds. But most importantly, the planting, it was such that it is scattered over the field, and therefore it became very difficult to manage. So farmers had to mulch the fields, and mulching was a back-breaking exercise because farmers have had to go and just throw or leaves from long distances and move them to their fields to cover the ginger fields. The whole idea was to reduce the emergence of weed and give the ginger a chance. So weeding has to be manual, where weeds are picked in between the ginger plants. That goes on to a large extent. Farmers have had to weed between 3-4 times. And so you find out that if a farmer had just half a hectare of ginger, that will require him to spend about 60 to 70% of his time during the wet season just weeding.
When I heard of the program of Agrolog, more especially coming to my village, I was very impressed. I was very happy. We noticed a lot of experiences that we can farm ginger by ridges and harvest it with the machineries and clean it, and there will be a machine that will slice it, and that made me to see that there's a change and improvement in the farming of ginger by implementing those machineries.
We have also told them how to measure the seed, and then put it on the container. Then we come to the field now. On the field now, we want to see how the planting is being done, and we are doing it, trying it, and adjusting it as the case may be. So if you see the seed on the container, ours is to know how many ridges it will contain, for the seed to expire, and then we go back again and fill the tank again.
Ci gaba wannan program ne tana taimakawa mutane. Kun san karshe cita an sai da shi har 20,000 da wani abu. To mutum zai samu 20,000 a ina ne? A halin da muna gwana da ranin nan. Amma yanzu muna juye muna ga su citan da mun karba a waje Agrolog noma. So akwai ci gaba.
They gave me fertilizer and the herbicide to apply, and I believe as I apply this in my farm, I'm going to harvest more than I used to do. We have seen the benefit of their helping because they gave us what to use in order to yield what we plant. That is the ginger. Though we have been farming the ginger, but they have put in more elbow to our farms. Now we are seeing our farms greenish. The farms are looking fine, and we hope by the end of the year we shall yield more than before as we used to harvest. And also this will make my children to have more than they used to have before.
Agrolog give me ginger, they give me fertilizer, aflasec, and the other chemical. So I farm it.
I am grateful because this will boost my ginger farming greatly. Because with this item, I will add more to the source of my income, and of course, it will help me in my livelihood to raise my family properly. And I'm going to manage the item very, very well to make sure that I reciprocate the kind gesture that Agrolog has rendered to me.
I collected some Agrolog fertilizer and aflasec, in which it have helped me to produce more and the ginger of what I'm producing compared to that of before. I used to get about 30 bags per hectare in the olden days, but now I'm expecting to get about 100 or 50 bags in the next if I use this Agrolog chemical.
The productivity was about 6 metric tons of wet ginger per hectare, maximally going to 8 metric tons per hectare of wet ginger. Our target for year 1 was to raise productivity to 15, 18 and 20 metric tons per hectare of wet ginger. That we have been able to achieve. Going forward, we are targeting 25 metric tons per hectare.
We're about to start year 2 now, and we're looking at improving at what we have done with Agrolog. 30,000 farmers, and then now in year 2, we expect another 30 to 40,000 farmers to be impacted by this intervention that we're working on. And so for me and the rest of my colleagues in the foundation, and even our colleagues at the head office, are all looking forward to the individual, the community, and the systemic impact that this is going to create, not only for the people of Southern Kaduna who are the producers of ginger, not only for Kaduna State, but actually for the country, because ginger is one of the top export crops in Nigeria. So we are excited to be supporting the ginger value chain development, and we are looking for more opportunities to take it to the next level.
Agrolog in Southern Kaduna is Messiah that we have been long waiting, and the Messiah has come to deliver us from our poverty. In fact, when you look at, if you go around and see the fertilizer, the ginger provide from the farmer, you can actually see that Agrolog-Mastercard of Canada have done a very excellent work.
Before this intervention of this program, we have some challenges, especially the farmers. You cannot afford to buy fertilizer and chemicals and other things that you need to do to get a proper yield of the farm. But coming of this program, in fact, even if I'm walking on the road, I will just hear my name. I don't even know some people because of this program. People benefit. In fact, when the program first come, people, when we are doing the sensitization, they were saying, this is how they usually deceive us. Some of them, when the program start properly, and they know that people start benefiting, they started running the EW also play a very vital role by going to the farm and take measurement of the farm and register the farmers, and they'll cross-check before issue anything to them. And so far so good, we have registered up to 52,000 farmers on this program.
I work with a lot of farmers, and one thing one of the farmers told me one day when I went for a farm visit, he said he appreciates the fact that we gave them fertilizer and we did not just leave them like that. We came back to visit their farms, that they are happy with that stage.
And so many of them, we are not having the income to purchase the fertilizer in the market. And because of the increase of in price of fertilizer, so many of them, we are not having the money to purchase it. But because of coming of Agrolog, it's helped them to get the fertilizer for them to be able to farm the ginger. And so many of them, we are already giving up on farming because we are not having the money to farm the ginger. But because Agrolog came and he gave them hope for them to be able to farm the ginger once again. I know so many of my farmers that said, if not because of Agrolog, they wouldn't have farmed this year.
The fact is that we used to farm at loss, but this year, nobody will farm at loss because of Agrolog. In those years, people farm without fertilizer, and when they go to see the farm, you see it somehow. But this year, every person that received this fertilizer, when you go to the farms are still greenish up to now.
Africa, Nigeria, Kaduna State, in particular Kachia local government. Now, ginger is a value chain, and we want to show you how we start the process from the beginning to the end. Now, the first thing we do after we collect this ginger from the farmers, actually we encourage them to bring their ginger here. We encourage them to come and learn how to go mechanized, because that is the key. We can't continue the way we're doing it hundreds of years back to now. So the main idea of Mastercard and Agrolog is to see how we can encourage these farmers to come here and learn how to go mechanized. Now, as you can see, this is the washer. We start by washing the ginger. Now is the wash ginger. After here, we go to process. But we actually have two ways we do this washing. This is the machine here. Then we also use pressure pump machine to wash this. We also get a good result from here because the pressure has a way of washing out the dirt and the dust down. So we get also a perfect result. As you can see, this is a very clean ginger. And from here, what we do next is to go to slicing. Then from slicing to the next stage. But the one idea of this is to improve the way we've been doing it, embrace the mechanized ways of doing things.
So with this slicing, in a day we slice not less than 1,000 bags of ginger, and a bag is about 50 kg. With a number of 100 workers, actually not all are Agrolog staff. Some are here to learn what we are doing, and the door is open because that is the target, to train more people to go mechanized. This has helped this community. For a person to slice a bag of ginger, it will take you about 1 hour, but with this machine, you can slice a bag of ginger in less than 2 minutes. We also use this medium to engage the youth. This has provided job for the youth in the community. Instead of staying idle, we bring them here to engage them. And I also want to bring to your notice that this is just one of the areas we are doing this. We have about 12 other locations that this same process is going on. You can see the slicing. So from here, we move to the solar dryer.
Actually, we dried it in two forms. We use the natural drying, which is the sun drying. Then we use the solar dryer, which I'm about to show you now. This sun drying, which takes about 7 to 10 days to dry. Now this is the solar dryer. The idea here is that the solar dryer retains more heat, and as you can see the fan now suck out the moisture, so that helps it to dry faster. Even when the sun has gone down, this place is still very hot. As I'm here, I'm sweating here. So this place is still hot, so it helps the ginger to dry faster, and the moisture content, the fan suck out the moisture content. So that is just the logic. The logic normally, the drying normally is heat and air. So the whole thing is working. That is the principle, heat and air. Here is hot, the fan is sucking out the moisture. This is the dryer, already dried. So we still have another stage, which is sorting and bagging. Now the sorting, we require it to be done manually because it's something that you need to see and just pick out some of the ones that are not looking good. So after the sorting, then we now bag it in our own branded bags, that is Agrolog bag. Now this is our warehouse. In no time, all this place will be full with ginger. Now let me show you our bags that we hope to bag the ginger. This Agrolog bag, and you can see all these here are the bags we use to bag the ginger. All this here. We have about 200,000 bag here ready to bag the ginger, ready to put the ginger. That will give you a clue on the number of ginger we are trying to process. Now, in case you're wondering why we call Kaduna the home of ginger, it's not far from it. As you can see, we have the best ginger in Nigeria, not only on paper. Even from the test, you'll find out that you can't compare our ginger with that of India and that of China. Now, Southern Kaduna is one of the places you get the best ginger, though we have other places that we can grow this ginger. But here in Southern Kaduna, you get the best ginger here. So all this ginger are ginger that are brought here for processing. This ginger are more than 20,000 bags here, which we hope to process the ginger in no time. As you can see, doing this manually, there is no how we can achieve this. So that's why mechanization is key to the volume of ginger we are having here, and just take a look of it. It's massive.
Bambanci na da na yanzu, da muna ba kanmu wahala sosai, amma yanzu idan muka dauka na wannan zamani akwai sauki kuma kashe kudi zai ragu, inda zaka dauka mutum yayi maka ini 1,500 misali mutum da ya ko 2,000, tractor ba zai ma mutum 500 ba ko kuma zai yi 500. So akwai bambanci tsakanin noma mu na da na yanzu. Noma yanzu akwai sauki.
The Mastercard Foundation had other partners that we are partnering in the project. One of those partners is GIZ, who is the technical partner that provided support trainings on mechanization. We also have OCP Africa that provided agronomic support to the project. In fact, as we speak, we have been able to take soil samples across all the geography where the project is happening, with the view to develop a ginger-specific fertilizer.
OCP's role in this intervention is in 3 critical categories. First, because we're producers of best fit crop and soil-specific fertilizers, a lot of research has been going on into getting the best fertilizers for ginger, the ginger value chain, and that's part of the things we bring to this intervention. Secondly, we also support in terms of training and extension, because we think that critically, training and extension forms a major gap that has kept the farmers unproductive over the years. And we think that with good training and quality extension being rendered by professionals, we can help these farmers actually grow their productivity. And lastly, what we've also been doing is to support in terms of creation of hubs that help with aggregation and also dissemination of inputs. So we're saying one-stop shops that farmers can come to and gain services, best practices. They can also come to and source inputs and also be an aggregation center for their produce. I mean, with all this, we believe that we are tying into the vision of Agrolog to ensure that the ginger value chain is more productive in Nigeria.
IITA is also, that's the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture, Ibadan, is also a partner, whereby they have been able to introduce Aflasef. And Aflasef is a biological substance that inhibits the growth of aspergillus, fungi in the soil, called Aspergillus species, that secretes a carcinogenic substance on the ginger called aflatoxins that further devalues the ginger. So we have carried out our trials through this project by applying Aflasef. Samples have been taken by IITA, and the whole idea is to get our ginger certified as Aflasef free. Once this happens, we are certain that the value of ginger will more than triple, even from the level of the smallholder farmer.
You know, basically, there are 2 very key standards, which is the European Union standard and the American standard. European Union standard says that any agro-commodity that is going to be injected into the EU market must not pass the limit of 4 parts per billion. That's 4 ppb. That's the highest. Then for the American markets accepts maximum of 20 parts per billion. And looking at the outcome of Agrolog for this first year, the highest from the results was about 4.4 parts per billion, just a little above the EU standard. So, and the least being 2.4 parts per billion. So, which means Aflasef has actually worked drastically in reducing the aflatoxin content. I must say that it's a good outing for Agrolog for this first year.
Along with the Aflasef also, we have fungicides. These are basically for seed treatment. Normally, the fungus infects the seeds in storage and affects the viability of the seeds during planting. And it normally comes with a millibug that the moment there's a fungal infection on the seed, it comes with a millibug comes along with it. And that millibug, it kind of like eats up the ginger or causes those points where the infected points to blister. This affects the ginger viability. So this is to address it. We are addressing our seeds with it. We are treating it before storage, and then we can plant. Then we'll be able to plant without any problems. We have over 600 metric tons of Aflasef already delivered, as you can see. Here we have We have about 3,000 cartons of the fungicide, and it is adequate to treat over 3,500 metric tons of seeds. It's a combination that is normally used, and the combination is that Eliza and Skywalk. We have been able to introduce ginger planters where ginger is planted on fields. We have harvested our ginger from the demonstration farms where these planters were demonstrated, and the output was much more, because what we got, the minimum we got from a ginger field for the demonstration was 18 metric tons per hectare. So this is very encouraging. In fact, the farmers themselves, when they saw this, they couldn't believe it. So, secondly, following the use of mechanized planting, gingers are planted on beds in rows, and that makes it very easy to apply herbicides in between the ginger rows. Another thing that this project has been able to help us achieve is the issue of microtuber propagation. We found out that at the beginning of our first the project, where we stored our seeds, that the seeds germinated early, and this is due to climate change. Normally, ginger farmers will store their ginger seeds, and the rhizomes will stay dormant because of the cold temperatures around November to February during the harmattan. But due to climate change, we are beginning to have warm winters, and those winters are actually causing the ginger rhizomes to be active, and they germinate. And once they germinate, they rot. We found out that recently that farmers have been losing entire planting stock due to this, and they didn't really understand what was happening until the project started, and we brought in agronomists that carried out a survey, and then we found out that this was the issue. Now, in order to forestall this, we had to introduce microtuber propagation technology, and the project has a partnership with the Center for Dryland Agriculture at the Bayero University, Kano, and they are the ones that are the technical partners. What you gain is 8 weeks. You gain 8 weeks because as you transplant the plant, the microplant just continues to grow. As against somebody that is putting a rhizome in the soil that will take a minimum of 6 weeks to germinate. So you find out that the advantage is that you gain time. And the more time you gain in ginger production, the more the yield you are going to have.
I see Southern Kaduna ginger being the next petroleum of Southern Kaduna people. In the nearest future, petroleum will no longer have any meaning as far as Southern Kaduna is concerned, because that is our base, that is our economy, that is our strength, and that is our everything. We own the ginger, and we have the best ginger, and everybody comes from abroad, everybody comes from the far north to buy our ginger. Now we are ready to hold on to what God has given unto us to make the economy of Southern Kaduna a great one.
While we were struggling and thinking about what to do with seeds that were rotting in storage, we decided to try irrigation. And it turned out that, as we speak, one of the achievements of this project is that we can grow ginger on irrigated fields. As I speak to you today, or let me say last year, we planted ginger in January. And that ginger, by the end of the dry season in September, October, the yield of that ginger was double. It's like It's like the kind of ginger that you leave in the soil for 2 to 3 years. Seriously, it was something that we just tried by chance, and it turned out to be one of the greatest achievements. As we speak, we started planting. We already started planting irrigated plots around December, and it will continue into the rainy season.
So this is not the season for farming ginger, that we are trying to draw water from the Grada Dam just for this project. We do it for the irrigation from now till October, when the time will do for the harvest. So we are trying to do like this to multiply people so that for the project to be successful.
This partnership came up as a result of a challenge that we faced. The seeds that we stored began to sprout because we had a warm winter. And naturally, once the ginger seed rhizomes begin to sprout, the rot follows. So in order to cut down on the losses, we decided to quickly do this partnership to enable us plant now and irrigate, because here they have an adequate supply of water all year round. This also has kind of opened our eyes to an opportunity that does exist, which is the market for wet ginger. If we can use this place to demonstrate to our farmers that irrigation is possible and work with them to achieve that, it will actually ensure an all year round supply of ginger, whether wet or dry. But most importantly, it means that farmers can have 2 crop cycles in a year. It is an unintended positive consequence of what we have attempted to do. And as you can see, this place is already established with bananas and oil palm trees. And we know that ginger likes shade and thrives well there where there is shade. The major deliverable that this project seeks to achieve is to open up the opportunities that exist in the ginger value chain. But most importantly, to demonstrate those opportunities for prospective investors to key into. Because what we believe is that either individuals or cooperatives who have seen these things demonstrated and that will be continuously demonstrated through the project life cycle, is that they should naturally pick areas of interest and invest in them. If an individual investor or a cooperative decides to invest in just ginger planting, they can invest in planters and provide that as a service to farmers. If a cooperative or an investor decides to invest in harvesting, they can buy harvesters and provide that as a service to farmers. If they decide to invest in washing or mechanical slicing, they can purchase ginger washers or slicing machines and provide that as a service. In fact, if they decide to invest in drying so that farmers can meet the quality that is required internationally, they can just invest in these solar drying tents and provide that as a service for farmers. And we see another great opportunity, which is the microtuber propagation. The investors may become interested in the production of ginger plantlets or seedlings and sell that to farmers as planting material. The project has opened up the horizon and has increased the opportunities that exist in the ginger value chain. But most importantly, what this project has achieved with mechanization is that it has opened the eyes of farmers and players in the value chain, for each value chain actor to now realize that, look, I can double my productivity while at the same time reducing my cost of production by half. Because manual labor is extremely expensive compared to mechanization. And therefore, this project has opened up the whole value chain to investors, and the opportunities lie bare.
So the project is already making a huge impact. People are now coming, investors are already coming. They're already calling Agrolog, I'm aware of that, to come and invest in the ginger value chain. So I'm looking forward to a lot of investment that will come into the value chain and transform the communities further, the individuals further than our project has done. So at the end of it, our project would have achieved the purpose for which we started it, which is to really bring it to the fore and open up the corridors and give the initial support that will lift the entire communities from point 0 to point A, which is just above the line, and then they can take it from there and other people can improve on what we have done. So I'm very excited and looking forward to the results at the end of year 2.
Here's one man who is full of integrity and drive. His passion for his people and the entire people of Nigeria and African alert is second to none, I can say. Looking at some interventions across the country that we've had, you see leaders, people who are put in this position, not involved, distant from the intervention. But you see, you have to take a cue from him. You see him in the field, you see him engaging with farmers, you even see him farming himself, you know, actively. And so this is something that is not always seen around, and it's amazing.
Kai ma za mu ce ba mu taɓa samun kamfani irin wannan ba, suka taimaki ƙananan manoma. Wannan program ai wani ba shi da kuɗin da zai sai iri, an ba shi iri. Wani ba shi da kuɗin da zai sai taki, an ba shi taki. Saboda haka wannan ci gaba ma ai ma ba sai an faɗa ba, an samu ci gaba 100%, 100 by 100%. Saboda haka wannan ina ga maka, ni ban taba ganin kamfani da suka taimaka ma talakawa irin wannan ba, kuma talakawa na karkashi, wanda na ƙauyuka ba na birane, ba masu cewa muna noma ba, ainihin manoman ne aka ba su taimako.
We can't go in, it's not everybody that will go to township and get a job, but if you can sit down to create one thing to do yourself, if we start adding value to ginger around this place, don't you think many people will want to come back home? They want to come back home. So certainly what Manzo brought, it was only God that will reward him.
This project has empowered a lot of people in this very area. This project has reduced poverty. I know many NGOs or companies that are coming within this locality. I have not seen a company that is helping the youth like this one.
The benefits that I can see is the number of people cultivating ginger has improved greatly. Before the coming of Agrolog, very few of us were ginger farmers, but there is a great improvement. Many people that got the support from Agrolog are into ginger production now. So that is a very great improvement.
The successes of the Mastercard Foundation project in partnership with Agrolog has attracted a lot of other, the goodwill of other development partners. For example, IDH Sustainable Trade, seeing the successes that we have achieved, has also keyed into the project, and they are funding they are funding 15,000 smallholder farmers on 1 hectare each for the next 3 years, building on the successes that we have been able to achieve with Mastercard Foundation. Another thing is that the Nexim Bank, that's the Nigerian Export Bank, Import-Export Bank, has also approached us, and we are finalizing talks for them to fund the export of ginger that has been produced by our farmers through us. Because naturally what we do is also we do harvest buyback. We are also in discussion with the Nexim Bank to administer the ginger fund from the Central Bank of Nigeria, because they find us a worthy partner to administer that fund. This and many other things actually testify to the success of what Mastercard Foundation has done in the lives of these farmers. And as I say, I don't know if any other foundation, if any other development partner or funder could have been so magnanimous to do the things that the Mastercard Foundation has been able to do in the ginger value chain. And all I can say is thank you to Mastercard Foundation, because they are a trailblazer, and they have set the pace. Things can only get better.